The storm raging outside was an unrelenting monster, shaking the windows in their frames and unleashing a furious orchestra of lightning and thunder. I was holed up inside my comfortable reading nook with a fascinating book in hand, yet even its immersive pages couldn't block out the oppressively eerie feeling of being alone in the house. Just then, my peace was shattered by a sharp, violent banging on my front door, a startling interruption to the quiet. My heart leapt in my chest, terror and confusion merging together, and I clutched the book tightly as if it would somehow protect me in this sudden moment of chaos. Who could be pounding on my door with that much urgency in the dead of night during this savage storm? At first, I thought it must be a neighbor needing help or finding refuge from the storm, but the stranger made no attempt to identify themselves and kept pounding away at the door. Nevertheless, my curiosity got the best of me, and I slowly got up from the couch, still staring at the door, asking who was there, but all I heard was my voice echoing back at me from the empty house. Taking cautious steps, I made my way to the door while the sound of pounding grew louder and more persistent. With each passing moment, I could feel the fear in the pit of my stomach transform into sheer terror, and my heart felt like it would rip right out of my chest. As I approached the front door, paralyzed with terror and holding my breath, I leaned forward cautiously, peering through the peephole with bated breath, hoping to see only the familiar sight of my empty porch. But my heart sank as I looked, the realization dawning on me that there was no one there, not even a shadow. With a rising sense of fear and anxiety, I turned to walk away from the door. But just as I thought the worst was over, a deafening slam against my front door made me jump out of my skin, my nerves jangling with fear and anticipation. I felt like my heart had skipped a beat, and I knew that whatever was out there wasn't giving up anytime soon. I spun around to face the door, my body trembling with fear. Through the crack in the doorframe, I saw a pair of chilling black eyes staring straight at me, causing chills to run down my spine. I knew at that moment that I wasn't alone. Trembling, I tiptoed towards the window next to the door and peeked through the blinds. I saw two chilling figures standing on my doorstep, their lifeless black eyes intently focused on me. Despite their small size, they exuded a sense of otherworldly darkness, and every fiber of my being tensed with dread. Suddenly, the little girl's voice cut through the eerie silence, asking to come in. But something about her request felt off, and I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of terror at the thought of what awaited me on the other side of the door. Still, I couldn't ignore the children's desperate pleas for help. Resigned to see what was on the other side, I walked over to the door, hesitant to let the children in, but equally afraid of leaving them alone in the storm. As I peeked through the narrow crack in the doorframe, I saw two pale and wet children standing on my doorstep, their black eyes staring blankly at me and sending a chill down my spine. Somehow, I couldn't turn them away, even though every fiber of my being screamed for me to run. It was as if some strange, inexplicable force held me in place, urging me to let them in. With trembling hands, I reached for the door handle, turning it slowly at first before pulling the door open. As soon as I did so, a sudden surge of energy flooded the room, almost unbearable in its intensity. I could feel the hair on the back of my neck standing on end, my heart racing with fear and anticipation. What happened? I asked, my voice trembling with fear.
It's raining, and we're lost. We need your help.
I'll call someone for you. The police or a family member, maybe.
No, we don't want anyone else around here.
What do you mean, you don't want anyone else around here?
We want to stay with you, Danny. We want to play with you, forever and ever.
Her lips stretched into an unnaturally wide smile, and her eyes became completely black. What's happening to you? What are you? How do you know my name?
We know all about you, Danny. We've been watching you.
What do you want?
We just want to come in. We're so cold and alone out here. Please, Danny, we won't be any trouble.
With every word, her voice became lower and more menacing. Her smile only widened as she stared me down with dark, unforgiving eyes. I immediately regretted opening the door. The children took a step forward, causing me to jump back. As they moved closer, my heart pounded with increasing fear and confusion. Their eyes remained black and expressionless. I took a step back, then another and another, searching desperately for a way out but found nothing. I could hear my own breathing rapid and panicked, and soon realized that I wasn't alone. The breathing of another person was in unison with mine, hot and uneasy on the back of my neck. I spun around, but there was no one there, and the children were edging closer. My mind was spinning with fear and confusion, and at that moment, I knew there was someone else in the room with me. But before I could act on it, everything went black, and I was left stranded in the darkness with them, alone.